In the 10th step, we're instructed to pause. What is a pause? It's a temporary stop, a period of time which something is stopped before it started again. A control that you use when you want to stop a recorded song, movie, etc. for time. But what if the pause is something we could actually program into ourselves with the help of a higher power? So in our behavior, can we learn with the help of a higher power to change what happens the instant we stop what we think is acting out, whatever way we do? Sort of like if we were to hit a pause button every time we were to think about food or whatever our addiction is. The pause. For instance, as a compulsive overeater, the thing I do is I eat. Well, am I hungry? For real is the first question when I think about food. That's the very first question. And then I decide, did I eat 3 hours ago or less than 3 hours ago? Now, if I ate more than 3 hours ago, then guess what? When will I eat again is the next question, because eating again in 2 hours is still compulsive overeating. So if I'm planning on eating 3 hours or more from now, then I really should consider a meal for a healthy purpose. But if I'm going to eat in less than 3 hours and I'm legitimate hungry, then maybe I need to consider a snack for a healthy purpose. If I ate less than 3 hours ago, food's not an issue. I've eaten enough. Then I have other things I have to do. It's time to use the tools. Do all of them, not just one or the other. Pick one, start at the top of the list, move to the bottom of the list. Write in my diary, why am I feeling hungry? Is it something that I need to be aware of? Call a sponsor for I need to do. Read some literature. Maybe do some exercise, meditate, or do something. Service, reach out to somebody still suffering. Maybe I can find a compulsive overeater who's not admitted it yet to help them, invite them to an OA meeting. Maybe my plan of eating is insufficient. Maybe what I'm eating is not enough, or maybe what I'm eating is the wrong kind of food. Or the telephone call, a service call. Make 3 service calls. We're not talking about phone calls that end up being, sitting there talking to somebody about how much you. A real service call, the idea behind the service call came from a vision for you in Alcoholics Anonymous. When we're new, we don't know what to do or say. We just call. And that's not a bad start. But the idea is to be listening to somebody, to listen to them, to think about them. The reason is not to hear encouragement, though that happens, is to serve somebody else. If I call you and tell you I want to be in the food, what have I done? Not only do I wallow in my addiction, I bring somebody else down. Why the call? In the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, page 153, in the last paragraph, it starts like this. One dismal afternoon, he paced a hotel lobby, wondering how his bill was to be paid. At the end of the room stood a glass-covered directory of local churches. Down the lobby door opened into an attractive bar. He could see the gay crowd inside in there, and he could find a companionship and release, unless he took some drinks. He might not have the courage to scrape on an acquaintance, and would have a lonely weekend. When I'm in the disease, when I'm thinking of food. Of course, he couldn't drink, but why not sit hopefully at a table, a bottle of ginger ale before him? After all, had he not been sober 6 months now? Perhaps he could handle, say, 3 drinks, no more. Fear gripped him. He was on the thin ice again. It was the old insidious insanity, that first drink. With a shiver, he turned away and walked down the lobby to the church directory. Music and gay chatter still floated to him from the bar. He needed to look someplace else. What about his responsibilities, his family, and the men who would die because they could not know how to get well? Ah, yes, those other alcoholics. There must be many in such a town as this. He would phone a clergyman. His sanity returned, and he thanked God. Selecting a church at random from the directory, he stepped into the booth and lifted the receiver. It needed to be of service to others. He didn't need to call somebody and ask and tell them that he wanted a drink. What he needed to do was to be of service. And Bill W. meets Dr. Bob. And then there was 3 in the Alcoholics Anonymous. The